All right, welcome into 5 Reasons to Bet here on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel. I'm Ethan Skolnick. You can follow me at Ethan J. Skolnick and at 5 Reasons Sports. We got Jim Rodriguez. You can follow him at J-Rod Show. We are sponsored, as always, by our friends over at City Cigar Lounge. And we got something important to tell you. They have a big party coming up on March 1st, 6 o'clock. This spot is right down the street from FTX Arena. They got more than 350 different types of liquor. They got more than 50 different types of cigars. They got a great little food menu. It's a clean, comfortable place. You can park right upstairs in the garage, not like $25 for $10, okay, and stay there as long as you want. It's City Cigar Lounge. City Cigar Lounge. You can see it. It'll look like a cool place to hang out. Well, it is basically like they're calling it like their grandiversary or something.
Exactly.
And so you got to get out there because the last one got canceled because of COVID. So go check it out. It's coming up on March 1st. I'm going to try to make it out there myself, but it's at 6 o'clock. And again, that's City Cigar Lounge. All right, let's get to it, Jim. The Heat are back, by the way. By the time that you go there on March 1st, the Heat will have played a couple of games already. They're in New York. Markieff Morris and Victor Oladipo made the trip, although I'm not anticipating that either of the two of them will play, but that does indicate, since it's a one-game trip, why would you travel for just one game if you weren't close to coming back with the team? You could have stayed here in Miami and just hung out with them before the Spurs game on Saturday. But Heat Knicks, the Knicks have shut down Kemba Walker for the season. Looks like you could shut down their play-in chances also. How do you see this playing out?
Well, first of all, it's all about that per diem, all that meal money in New York City. So I'm happy they're getting that. Listen, this is the second meeting of the year between the Knicks and the Heat. The first one was down here in Miami. We were at City Cigar Lounge, actually, for a watch party, and the Heat won by 14 that night. They let us sweat a little bit, but they did cover both the number and the over-under. But here is an interesting stat that I am going to bet on while we wait for the number to come out on BetUS.com. Here it is. The Knicks have lost 8 of their last 10 games, but have scored at least 100 points in each of those 10 games. So I'm going to bet on that the Knicks are going to go over 100 points. Whatever they set the number at, if it's over 100 or near over 100, I'm going to go over because that's what the Knicks have been doing. They've been losing, but they've been scoring. And I get it. The Heat defense has been clamping out, but it's the first day after the All-Star break. Everybody's coming back a little fat. Maybe the defense relaxes a little bit. The Heat tied for first with the Bulls at 38-21. I think the Heat win. I think the Heat cover, but I love the Knicks over 100 points in that game as a total.
Interesting with the Tom Thibodeau team that it's actually been the defense that has been lax of late. And again, they don't look like they have much of a play-in chance. All right, we got some NBA futures to get to here. We did some of these before. First, though, we're going to tell you about Booze Bandage. Here we go. Well, we will be telling you about Booze Bandage eventually. All right, so go to boozebandage.com. Use the code 5RSN. You get 20% off at boozebandage.com. This is where you want to go if you're concerned about a hangover. This is a hangover cure that you put on your arm in advance. You just find a spot that doesn't have a ton of hair. You can put it on your leg, your arm. You can put it anywhere else, actually. Okay, that's up to you. Okay, some of that you can find on their Instagram page. But
it's not a pasty, okay? It's not a pasty.
It's not a, well, it could be. 20% off, boozebandage.com. Use the code 5RSN. All right, let's get to it. Let's get to these futures. We talked a little bit about the NBA championship, but you wanted to talk conference finals now.
Yeah, let's talk about getting to the NBA finals. And here's the numbers get really interesting. And I got a couple of dark horses. And listen, I know we're in Heat country, but the value, I love the Boston Celtics. They have been probably one of the better teams in the NBA the last month, and nobody's talked about them. They've been playing really well. They're 12-1 to win the Eastern Conference. So I like putting a little money on the side in case that streak keeps going. Now, the Nets are still the prohibitive favorite at plus 225. The Nets, right? I think that's more of a liability with the casinos and in terms of dropping them down in case they decide to play. Then come the Bucks, the defending champs. They're plus 250. Philly, 3-1 to win the East. And then the Heat at plus 550. I'm going to take the Heat plus 550. And I'm also going to throw a little money, like I said, on the Celtics at 12-1. On the other side of the coast, the West Coast, the Western champs, well, the Warriors, they're 2-1 to win the West. The Suns are also 2-1. Utah, interesting, plus 650 to make the NBA Finals. And here's another dark horse that I really like a lot. How about the Memphis Grizzlies to win the West? 12-1.
I like that.
Love those numbers. Real good value, and they could surprise you. Then you got the Nuggets and the Lakers at 14-1. I wouldn't, you know what? Anthony Davis is out for the regular season. He'll be back for the playoffs. The Lakers have very winnable playoff games. Who knows how it looks in a series? 14-1. Sprinkle a little bit on there. So I love Boston 12-1. I love Memphis 12-1. And I love the Lakers at 14-1 to get to the NBA Finals.
It's funny that the Lakers odds finally ballooned a little bit. It took them all year to get to it. I would say I would stay away from Utah and I would play Memphis. I'm with you on that. I think the Grizzlies, they're dangerous now that they've figured out how to play with Morant and the kind of season that he's having, although I always worry about injury with him. All right, you're going to bet all this at betus.com. That's betus.com. Use the code there, 5, F-I-V-E. You get 125% bonus at sign up. Before we close, Jim, anything else?
Well, there are some regular season wins if you shop around that could be of a value. How about the Indiana Pacers? They've been set in some books at 28.5 is the over-under of wins. They're sitting on 20. They've got a brutal schedule. They're in tank mode after the trade. Under 28.5, that means they'd have to go 9-13 down the stretch for you to lose the bet. How about even money? So I like it under 28.5, and I like the Lakers under 38.5 wins. Wow. They're, no Anthony Davis for the regular season. Portland's in tank mode, so the Lakers are going to get to the playoffs. I think the regular season is going to be bumpy ride. Under 38.5 wins for the Lakers at -105. I like that value as well.
That LeBron tweet at the beginning of the year about how you're all betting against these old guys. You're right to bet against these old guys. All right, so look at the Pacers and Lakers under on wins the rest of the year. Of all your picks, I like the Memphis pick the best. I can't go with Boston. I'm sorry. Play the Heat in the Eastern Conference. And then, as you said, the Knicks against the Heat, play the Knicks over 100 points. Thanks to our sponsor, City Cigar Lounge. The party is on March 1st. And also, boozebandage.com. Use the code 5RSN for 20% off. And over at BetUS, use the code 5, F-I-V. Have a good day, everybody.
Rock on.